5 things you can do to increase your plumbing sales and become a top plumber. If you want to be the top plumber that works for your company, you've got to get good at sales. And I hate to say it because I really don't think we're salesmen. I think that we are professionals. But if we become really good plumbers, increasing our sales is really very easy to do. People have plumbing problems that they need addressed. And what we're going to talk about today are the things that you can do to improve yourself as a plumber. And to be honest, none of them have to do with sales. Well, maybe the last one, but it's going to be one you're going to want to hear. First of all, start with a great first impression. And I mean that when you pull up, when you get out, when you walk up to the house, when you knock on that door and you introduce yourself, do they see you as a true professional? Or do you pull up in an old clunker, you're out back, you're grabbing your tools, you're throwing your cigarette in the yard, you're kind of straightening your hair, you kind of halfway tuck your shirt in. What kind of impression are you making when you walk up? Because if they truly see you as a professional and you act like a professional when you talk to them and communicate with them, they're gonna feel like you know what you're doing. And if you're a professional and you understand what you're talking about, you can come across that way. But it all depends on that first impression. If you come up and they don't like you, and the thing that you have to remember is you are competing with every service person that has ever walked up to their house before. The handyman that ripped them off, the HVAC tech that charged them a ton of money and changed one little bitty part. You're competing with every service technician they've ever had to deal with. And you know what? They probably don't trust you. You got to remember that, because if you know that walking up, you know you've got to help slowly tear down those walls. You have to build that impression, and it starts with where you park, how you walk up to the house, how you knock on the door, and how you talk to them whenever you introduce yourself. So number 2, change your mindset about plumbing sales. Number 1, it's not really sales. I give people options. When you learn to look at it that way, I don't want to sell them. I want to give them what it is that they need. I want to give them the option to choose what solution I have would they rather see. Which one would they rather invest in for their house? And when you learn to look at it like that, I don't want to sell them anything. I want to see what they have wrong, what problems they have, and then present the solutions that I have. And hopefully I've got more than one solution. And if you will learn to look at it like this, like, look, I am not trying to sell them anything. I am trying to present the options that I think are best for them in this situation. They're going to appreciate that. Because you're not trying to sell them. You're not trying to hardcore, hey, you need this way up here, when really maybe what they need is right here. Another option might be somewhere in between. This is the Band-Aid. This is doing it right. This is the Cadillac or Mercedes, depends on how you look at it. So when you're there, how can you help them? How can you increase your sales? Look for other service opportunities. And notice I said service, not sales. If you're there to service them, if you're really there to take care of your customer, think about it that way. What other opportunities are there? If you're there to work on the garbage disposal and you realize the water heater in the attic is 20 years old, waiting for a leak to happen, is it not better for you as a plumber while you're there to check things out? And say, hey, I don't know if y'all thought about it, but you know that water heater is 20 years old. Water heaters normally last 8 to 10 years old, and where yours is up in the attic, you may have problems. Because if it leaks, it's gonna mess up the ceiling. If it ruptures and just floods, it's gonna mess up a whole lot of things. And if you look at things and think of things in that way, hey, look, I'm a professional and I'm here to take care of you. Are you really doing your job if you don't tell them about this? Now, I'm going to tell you a story. There's a doctor that's walking down the hallway at the hospital and he sees one of his patient's names on the door. But his patient's not in the hospital. So he walks in, he says, Fred, what's going on? What are you doing? Well, Fred's laying there, he's got his arm broke and he's in the bed and they've got the room all dark and quiet. He said, man, what's going on? Fred says, you know what? I almost died yesterday. I had a massive heart attack and on the way to the hospital, I died twice. Luckily, they were able to revive me both times. The doctor says, I know, when you were in the office 2 days ago getting the cast on your arm, your blood pressure was so high, we thought you were gonna die then. Fred says, why didn't you tell me? He says, man, you were just there to get your arm fixed. Think about it like that. What can you do to be of value to your customers? What can you do to bring them a better opportunity, a better service, a better relationship than to really try to take care of them? That's a great way to do it. The fourth thing is clear communications. Make sure you speak to them on a level that they understand. And I don't mean that I think everybody's stupid. I don't. But I want to make sure that I'm not using technical terms when I'm talking plumbing. I want to make sure that they understand, you know, that thing down under your sink that goes down and comes back up and goes back? Okay, that's a P-trap. And if I explain it to them, and that's what the problem is, and say, look, your P-trap is old and it's starting to rot out. You can tell by the bottom, it's real thin. You can move it when you touch it. When you explain things like that to them and let them know this is what it is and this could be a problem, man, you're really helping them out. But if you just come in and say, hey, that P-trap thing needs to be replaced, and they don't know what it is, now they think you're just selling them something, but they don't want to look stupid, so they're not going to ask you any questions. Like, you know what? I'll talk to my husband about that when he gets home and let him decide. Make sure you explain things to people in a way they can understand it. Water heaters, that's a great way to do it. Do you understand the water heater is this old? They normally last this long. You are beyond its life expectancy. You've got so many years really for free, and the efficiency of these new water heaters is probably going to save you money every month. Say it in a way they can understand it. Say it in a way that makes sense to them and lets them know you really are just trying to help. If you really just try to help every customer that you walk in and talk to by checking on things that they've got, seeing what kind of problems they may have existing that they don't even know about, and seeing if you can present it to them in a way that they'll understand and it'll help them, that is always going to be a good thing to do. You can become the trusted advisor for every homeowner that you walk in. And remember, while you're there, you're trying to help them take care of their greatest possession, their home. This is where they raise their families. And if you can learn to do that, you are going to be great. You're going to become the top plumber. You're going to become that guy that when they've got a customer they really care about, hey, will you go take care of them? I love the way you take care of your customers. Now, the last thing, and this is the one that can really set you apart and make you a great salesman. Never sell anybody anything they don't want or need. And I put it that way because there's a lot of things people need that we try to sell them, and maybe they don't buy it, but if they don't, it's because we did not explain it to them in a way that they understand why they really need it. Now, the other one is, what if they want it? We sell bidet toilet seats. Everybody in the world does not need one. But I tell you what, after I've had one, everybody should want one. They are amazing. Okay, so first things we're gonna do, get rid of the directions. And if we can sell that to our customers, what's wrong with that if they want it? Not that they need it. I'm not going to sell it to them and say, look, you need this and you need it now no matter what. I'm not going to do that. But people can buy what they want or what they need, and I can present it to them in a number of different ways. What kind of presentations are you doing? Are you explaining to them the value in what it is they need, or are you explaining the value in what they want? Is it going to help them? I don't want to sell them a whole house water filtration if they're fixing to move. It's not going to bring much value. They're not going to get their ROI back. I may say, hey, if you want one installed at the new house, I'd be more than happy to do that. What are you doing for your customers, and how are your sales? Do you inspect things? Do you check things? And do you take care of your customers the way they deserve to be taken care of? If you're a good salesman for your company, do me a favor. Leave me a comment down below and let me know, what do you do that maybe is a different way than I do? Because I'm telling you, if we will all take better care of our customers, our sales will go up and we'll become more of that top plumber that we all want to be. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.